An incredible billionaire's fate exposed. How one poor girl discovered the life-changing solution. Lily Thompson stood inside the small family diner, the scent of sizzling bacon and freshly brewed coffee wrapping around her like a warm embrace. It was more than just a place to get breakfast. It was the heart and soul of Maplewood, where laughter danced in the air and memories were served with every plate. But recently, a storm brewed overhead, threatening to tear it all apart. News had spread like wildfire. Andrew Carter, the billionaire, wanted to demolish their diner to build something shiny and cold, a luxury shopping complex that didn't belong in their town. As the sun spilled over the horizon, illuminating the diner's worn checkered floor, Lily felt a heavy weight settle in her chest. Her mother, seated at the cash register, greeted the regulars with a smile that masked the worry beneath. "Just another day, Lil," she said, trying to stay positive, but Lily saw the strain in her eyes. It was a promise to the community that, despite hard times, they would continue to serve their morning lift, but who could lift them when their very home was at risk? The diner wasn't just bricks and mortar, it was filled with the echo of countless stories and laughter, a piece of history. And now, fear threatened to swallow that history whole. Before long, the gloomy chatter in the diner shifted from everyday gossip to murmurs of resignation. "What can we do?" one worn-faced man whispered, clutching the handle of his coffee cup as if it were a lifeline. "He's got money and power. We're just us." Each word you could feel like knives slicing through hope. It was then that Mr. Jenkins, the town's beloved war veteran, entered, his weathered face breaking into a grin. "Don't count out the little guys yet," he chuckled, but there was wisdom in his eyes. "Remember, resilience is born from struggle, and together, we're an army." Those words fueled a fire within Lily, an army. And a deep determination ignited inside her. The town hall meeting, tension crackled in the air. Lily's heart raced as she stood face to face with Andrew, his cold demeanor juxtaposed against the warmth of her community. "Do you even care what you're taking from us?" she demanded, voice cracking. His eyes narrowed, indifference etched onto his face like stone. It crushed her spirit to see him so blind to their fight. Anger flared, a tempest inside her, but it threatened to cloud the compassion she'd learned from Mr. Jenkins. Days passed, each blending into the next, until Lily couldn't ignore the heavy journal left by her late father tucked away in a dusty drawer. Flipping through its pages, she uncovered his dreams, ideals, and the legacy he had crafted with love. But there it was, a name, a connection to Andrew Carter, whose own struggles were woven intricately throughout. The realization hit her like a wave. They were more alike than different, bound by the histories they couldn't escape. Finally, she decided to reach out to him, not to destroy him but to offer dialogue and understanding. Maybe, just maybe, her compassion could pierce the ego forged by wealth. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Standing at the diner's doors, the sun setting behind her, Lily felt ready. A blend of determination and uncertainty filled her. The community watched with bated breath, each heartbeat echoing the question, could an olive branch spark change in a world so divided? As she waited, doubt lingered like a shadow, but hope sparked a light deep within her. Their fate hung in the balance of what could happen next. The diner was quiet, the usual clinking of silverware replaced by the soft hum of the refrigerator. Lily took a deep breath, her heart racing. Today would be different. Today, she would face Andrew Carter. The moment felt monumental, like standing at the edge of a deep chasm, uncertain but compelled to take the leap. Outside, the day was bright, but a shift was palpable in the air. The community had rallied around her, sharing their stories of love, laughter, and loss that the diner had nurtured. They understood her mission, and the weight of their hopes lay heavy on her shoulders. With every step toward Andrew's office, anxiety twisted her stomach. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was walking toward a storm. Pushing open the glass door, Lily stepped into the polished, luxurious lobby of Carter Enterprises. The contrast was stark. Where her diner was warm and inviting, this place felt cold and impersonal. She fought the urge to turn back. Deep breaths, she reminded herself. Andrew's assistant eyed her curiously as she approached. "Do you have an appointment?" the woman asked, one eyebrow raised. "No, but wait here," she interrupted, tapping away at her keyboard. In moments, Andrew's voice pierced through the air, muffled yet commanding. The assistant finished typing, nodded, and directed Lily through a set of frosted glass doors. The office was expansive with walls adorned by sleek art and giant windows that looked out onto the city. Andrew was seated behind a heavy mahogany desk, reviewing papers, his dark hair slicked back. He looked up as she entered, his expression revealing nothing. "What do you want?" he asked, dismissively. Lily's resolve wavered, but she remembered her father's words from the journal. "I'm here to talk," she said, sounding steadier than she felt. "About the diner. Is this about the meeting? You know how you feel matters little. I'm buying that property regardless." His tone was sharp, carrying the weight of his authority like armor. She clenched her fists, stepping closer. "It's not just a building. It's home to everyone in Maplewood. This community means something. It's just a diner." He leaned back, seeming utterly uninterested. "Sentiment 1T, pay the bills." Her heart sank at his indifference. But then, images of the diner flooded her mind, families sitting together, children laughing, and her own memories of her father. "What about your father?" she blurted out, surprising herself. Did he value relationships over a business empire? For a moment, Andrew's mask faltered, revealing something deeper. There was a flicker of emotion before he masked it with annoyance. "I don't have time for this sentimental nonsense." But she paused, searching for words. "Did you grow up in a place that felt like home? What would it mean for you to lose that?" His eyes sharpened, probing her sincerity. "You don't know me." "Maybe I do," she said, desperation edging her voice. "Maybe you're not so different from us. Maybe we can find a way." The silence grew thick, stretching between them. He studied her, and a storm of thoughts brewed behind those cold blue eyes. She could feel the shift. An opportunity was brewing, but then, just as quickly as it appeared, uncertainty extinguished the flicker of hope. Would he truly listen? Or was she chasing after shadows, blinded by her desire to bridge the gap between their worlds? The seconds ticked by, and the stakes were rising. Uncertainty loomed over her heart. Just when she thought she reached him, would she lose him all over again? "Fine," Andrew broke the silence, frustration apparent. "We can talk. But know this, my mind is made up." What did that mean? Had she opened a door, or merely cracked it further? As her chest tightened with a mix of hope and worry, Lily couldn't help but wonder if their conversation would lead to resolution or despair. Perhaps this was the beginning of a journey neither was prepared for. With a tremor of anticipation, she set herself to speak. Little did she know, the revelation that awaited them would shift everything, testing the very foundations of both their worlds. Lily took a moment to gather her thoughts, the weight of Andrew's dismissal hanging in the air like a thick fog. She could feel the tension curling in her stomach, but she wasn't ready to back down. "I know you think you have everything figured out," she began, her voice shaking slightly, "but maybe this isn't as simple as you believe." Andrew leaned forward, an eyebrow raised, intrigued despite himself. "What do you mean?" "It's about connection, understanding," she said, her heart racing as she saw a flicker of curiosity in his eyes. "Your work, it's just numbers on a page to you. But for us, it's about community. It's about family. You don't realize what you're tearing apart to build your empire." He scoffed, feigning disinterest, but she recognized the trapdoor opening ever so slightly. "I've built everything I have from the ground up. I know the price of success." "Yes," she shot back, her passion igniting. "But at what cost? What good is success if you lose what truly matters?" She swallowed, heart pounding. This was the moment to pull him closer or risk pushing him over the edge. "And what exactly matters to you, Lily?" He looked at her, something vulnerable hiding behind his sharp gaze. What do you want? I want the diner to remain a cornerstone of Maplewood, she replied, each word chosen carefully. The memories created there, the community that gathers, it's worth so much more than a dollar amount. It's life. Andrew shifted in his seat. Life is complicated. This is business. Is it? She challenged, stepping forward. Or is it fear? Are you afraid to let people in? Her breath caught in her throat as she realized how personal this was getting. What do you know about my fears? His voice was low, but she could see the frustration in his posture. You think I want to take from people? You don't know what it's like to be responsible for so much. Try me. Her voice was unwavering, carrying a quiet strength. You may have wealth and power, but you also have a past. One that likely holds pain. A muscle twitched in his jaw. And what about you? What gives you the right to judge me? She shook her head, emotion flooding her chest. I'm not judging you. I'm trying to connect. I know loss, too. My father's health declined, and I watched him struggle to maintain something he loved, my diner. I don't want to lose it just as he lost his dream. The raw honesty in her words landed like a soft thud in the expansive office. For a heartbeat, they were both prisoners of their own pasts, shadows of their struggles cast on the walls around them. Sometimes, I think about what it would mean, Andrew said finally, his voice quieter now, to not have to carry all this burden alone. But then you shut people out, she whispered. Because it's easier. The silence deepened, wrapping around them like an embrace. Andrew's composed exterior was starting to fray, and Lily felt as if time had stopped, giving them each a moment to breathe. Just as she thought he might share more, his phone buzzed on the desk, shattering the fragile moment. He glanced at the screen, the flicker of emotion he'd shown evaporating as quickly as it had appeared. I have to take this. He stood abruptly, the moment lost. The wall between them was up again, fortified by unspoken words. Andrew, she pleaded, clinging to the last threads of their connection. Please don't shut me out. He paused, looking over his shoulder, conflicted. This isn't a charity case, Lily. I know, she said softly, tears threatening. But we could help each other. You might find your storms calm when confronted with truth. He turned fully to face her, his eyes searching hers. What if I'm not ready to face that truth? Then maybe it's time to decide what kind of man you want to be. With that final word hanging heavily between them, Andrew picked up the phone, his gaze diverting to the screen. For Lily, hope flickered like a candle as she watched him wrestle with something more than just a business decision. Would he choose to confront the past buried deep within him? Or was this just the beginning of a different battle? The tension crackled around them, an invitation for change lingering in the air, begging for resolution. As the weight of the moment settled, Lily's heart raced with anticipation. She leaned forward, a fragile hope coursing through her veins. You might just discover that opening up can lead to more than you ever imagined. The phone call felt like an eternity for Lily. The crisp tone of Andrew's voice faded as he steeled himself into business mode. She could see his shoulders tighten, the tension reappearing like an old friend. The moment had been so close, a fragile bridge between their worlds, and now it felt as if it had shattered with a single ring. She stood there, her heart pounding, longing for the connection they'd almost shared. The office felt impossibly vast, lonely. She could have turned to leave, to retreat to the safety of her diner, but something held her in place. Was it hope? Or desperation? Andrew's voice snapped her back. I'll call you back, he said coolly, ending the conversation with a finality that echoed in the room. He placed the phone on the desk, every polished corner reflecting the decision that hung in the air. Andrew, she ventured, almost hesitant. Maybe this isn't just a business decision for you. It's your life too. His gaze flickered, a storm hidden behind those blue eyes. Don't you get it? I'm doing what needs to be done. The world doesn't stop for sentiment. My grandfather taught me that. And what about your heart? She stepped forward, her voice rising, If you close it off to everyone, just like your grandfather, what will you have left? He turned away, looking out the window where the soft maplewood breeze rustled the leaves. Shadows played over his face. I wish I could just forget, Lily. I wish I could leave the past behind. Maybe you should explore it instead, she said softly, her words a whisper carried by the hope lingering in the air between them. What if the answers you're seeking are wrapped up in those memories? What if confronting your past could free you? A muscle in his jaw flexed. Some memories are best left buried. Not if they're the key to understanding who you are now. Her heart raced, each word landing heavier than the last. She had no idea if she was hitting a nerve or just pushing him further away, but she couldn't stop. You're so afraid of failure that you're willing to sacrifice everything. For the first time, she saw a flicker of raw emotion cross Andrew's face. Vulnerability mixed with its ugly cousin, pride. You don't know what you're talking about, he snapped, but it lacked conviction. Maybe I do, she countered, lowering her voice. You have to let someone in, Andrew. This isn't about losing control, it's about letting go of the burden. You're carrying it all alone. He turned slowly, facing her fully. There was a storm brewing in those blue depths, emotions fighting to break through the surface. And if I do? What then? Then you'll find that you're not alone anymore. Tears brimming, she took a step closer, the distance between them feeling charged and alive. Andrew's eyes softened, confusion and fear battling for dominance. What if it makes everything worse? Then we'll face it together. Lily's voice cracked just a little, filled with more determination than she ever realized she possessed. What's worth saving if you're not willing to fight for it? The silence swelled, thick with possibility. She could see the wheels turning in his mind, a precarious balance of hope and fear. She took a deep breath, wishing she could just tear down the walls he'd built. She wanted to reach him, to help him see what she did. There's so much more at stake than the diner here, it's about you, too. Your life, your soul. He hesitated for a moment that stretched like eternity, the air crackling with the weight of the choice before him. Lily held her breath, praying for clarity, praying for connection, but just when she thought he might take the plunge, the office door swung open. A stern-faced woman appeared, clipboard in hand. Andrew, there's something urgent I need to discuss with you. His expression hardened instantly. Not now, please. He exhaled, frustration boiling just below the surface. Lily stepped back, her heart sinking as the moment slipped through her fingers like sand. The urgency in the woman's voice had shattered whatever fragile resolve had begun to form. Lily, we'll talk later, he said, his tone clipped as he turned away, rearming himself with the walls he had built. Wait. She called out, unwilling to let him go without a fight. Please. But the moment was shattered, the door closing behind him like a rising tide that swept away everything they had almost shared. With a heavy heart, Lily turned away, feeling the emptiness settle in. It was clear she wouldn't give in easily, but the challenge now loomed larger than ever. As she left his office, one thing lingered in her mind. How long could Andrew hide from the truth of his past before it consumed him? And would she be there when the dam finally broke? Lily stepped out into the clammy afternoon air, her heart racing for reasons that felt both familiar and foreign. The weight of unanswered questions clung to her like a summer fog, and she could almost hear the faint echo of Andrew's resolute voice ringing in her ears. She brushed a hand over her cheeks, reminding herself to breathe, stifling the urge to cry. The diner was just a few blocks away, a beacon of warmth amidst the chill. The familiar smell of bacon and fresh coffee awaited her, along with a crowd of regulars whose chatter flowed like a comforting melody. But today, the thought of returning felt heavy, like a weight pressing down on her chest. It was more than just a job, it was an extension of who she was, a sanctuary not just for her, but for everyone who walked through the doors. Yet in every corner of her mind, it felt like something was unraveling. Andrew's indecision gnawed at her, and the vulnerability he barely revealed made her heart ache for him. He was so close, yet the walls he built protected him like armor. She wondered who would ever truly get to see the boy behind the business suit. As she crossed the diner's threshold, the bell chimed above her head, a familiar sound that usually brought a smile to her face. Today, it barely registered. "Hey, Lily. You good?" Sarah, her best friend and the waitress at the diner, called from behind the counter, a towel slung over her shoulder like a superhero cape. Lily offered a small smile, though it felt more like a mask. "Just a rough day. You know how it is." Sarah raised an eyebrow, unconvinced. "You sure? You had that look on your face earlier, like you were battling a storm." "I'm fine." The words slipped out, rehearsed and polished, but it felt hollow. Lily was spiraling, lost in thoughts of Andrew and the unpickable lock of his heart. "Okay, if you say so." Sarah returned to flipping pancakes, but Lily could see the worry in her eyes. The lunch crowd started to trickle in, and soon the upbeat atmosphere enveloped her. She poured coffee and took orders, finding some solace in the rhythm of the diner. Each smile exchanged with the customers felt like a balm for her fraying nerves. Yet, Andrew's presence loomed over her, a shadow against the walls of her reality. Hours later, as twilight draped the sky in shades of orange and purple, she closed the diner for the night. She leaned against the counter, contemplating her next move. Was it time to go after Andrew again? What could she say that hadn't already been said? "Hey, you okay?" Sarah asked, her tone softer now, the diner behind her dimming. "Yeah, just thinking," Lily sighed, rubbing her temples. "I need to reach him. I can't let him keep running from himself." "Then go. Talk to him. Just don't let him make you feel small. You're not just the diner girl, Lily." She took a deep breath, resolve surging through her veins. "You're right. He's shutting everyone out. It's not just me he's hurting." With new energy, she grabbed her jacket. "Thanks, Sarah. I need to do this." The night air was cooler than she expected, but the chill invigorated her. She set her sights on Andrew's office, the well-lit building breaking through the dusk like a lighthouse against dark seas. As she approached the front door, she hesitated, her pulse racing again. Was it too late? What if he turned her away again? She needed to at least try. She pushed through the glass door, the familiar scent of polished wood and leather greeting her. But just as she reached the elevator, she spotted Andrew through the glass conference room, brow furrowed, focused on a group of people gathered around him. His expression was intense, and for a moment, she felt that familiar flicker of connection. But he looked distressed, like a man drowning in obligations. Would it be selfish to interrupt? Before she could second-guess herself, she stepped forward. Each step drew her closer, but each breath felt heavier. What if tonight was the night everything changed for him and for her? But as she raised her hand to knock, a sudden weight lifted from her stomach when the door opened behind her, revealing his assistant. "Sorry, he's in a meeting right now," she said, her voice apologetic. Staring past her, Lily felt a gut punch of frustration. Would he ever allow her to express what they could be? Yet as she turned to leave, something shifted in her. She wouldn't give up that easily. "Can I wait?" The words came out more urgent than she'd intended. The assistant hesitated, then nodded. Lily's heart fluttered with hope as she stepped inside the conference room, trying to catch Andrew's eye. The moment stretched painfully. Would he see her? But when he finally looked up, his expression shifted from confusion to something like gratitude or maybe even desperation. "Lily!" he exclaimed, rising from his seat. And in that breath, the galaxy of their unspoken possibilities sparked anew. What light would reach through the darkness this time? Lily felt a rush of warmth sweep over her as Andrew's gaze locked onto hers, an invisible thread pulling them closer. The noise around them faded, and it was just the two of them, suspended in that moment. Her heart danced with a mix of fear and exhilaration. What had she been waiting for? He stepped away from the table, leaving behind a murmured conversation that had seemingly lost its importance. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice a mixture of surprise and something deeper. Was it longing? I needed to see you," she breathed, unsure if the rush of courage would hold, but feeling an inkling of power in her words. Just as he opened his mouth to respond, his assistant shifted uncomfortably, clearing her throat. "We should really get back to the meeting, Andrew." "Just give me a moment," Andrew replied, his tone decisive, brushing past the procedural interruptions that usually dictated his time. Lily caught the way his shoulders relaxed slightly as he focused solely on her. "Lily," his voice became softer, the intensity of his earlier demeanor dissolving under her presence. "This isn't a good time." "Then when is?" She shot back, surprising both of them with the fierceness in her tone. "When will you ever let someone in?" "I came all this way because I care about you, Andrew." His brow furrowed, the tension in his jaw tightening as he processed her words. "It's complicated." "There are things I know it's complicated," she interrupted, her heart racing anew. "We're all complicated. But shutting everyone out, I'm not shutting you out," he said, his voice rising as pent-up frustration bubbled to the surface. I don't want to burden you with my problems." The silence that followed was thick, heavy with unsaid fears and hidden pains. Lily took a step closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "You're not a burden. You're human, Andrew. And we all face darkness. I promise I can handle whatever it is you're afraid to show me." For a moment, his walls wavered. She could see the conflict swirling behind his cool exterior. And in that moment, her heart dared to hope, believing that perhaps he really wanted to open up but didn't he know how. Then suddenly, the moment was shattered as his assistant returned, this time more insistent. "Andrew, we really need to wrap this up." Andrew ran a hand through his hair, visibly torn. "Can we hold on for a sec?" Instead, he turned back to Lily with a pained expression. "Can you meet me later? I'll explain everything, I promise." Her heart sank at the idea of leaving again, even just for a little while. Will it really be different? Or is this just another excuse to put up walls? "No walls. I swear," he insisted, desperation threading through his voice. "Just trust me. I need some time to figure things out." Every instinct urged her to argue, to push back against his retreat into safety, but something in Andrew's eyes kept her from doing so. So she nodded slowly, swallowing a mixture of disappointment and hope. "Okay," she said at last, forcing a smile. "I'll be at the diner." He wanted to say something more, something that could bridge the distance his walls had created, but the moment slipped away from him like grains of sand. As she turned to walk away, his voice stopped her one last time. "Thank you, Lily." In those two words, there was so much unspoken. Gratitude, awareness, a plea for understanding. It warmed her heart, but also left her chasing questions. Would he be strong enough to let her in? Did he want to fight for something more than just his obligations? Stepping back into the chilly night, the bite of air felt sharper. As her heels clicked against the pavement, she dared not look back. She needed to give him space, but how long could she wait for him to take the leap? Her thoughts spun as she approached the diner, the familiar neon welcoming her back into its soft glow. But tonight, it felt different. She had opened a door, but would he step through? Lily's heart fluttered. What if the next time they met, everything would change? As she walked in, her phone buzzed in her pocket, pulling her from her thoughts. It was a message from Andrew. "Meet me at the park tomorrow at 5. A mix of anxiety and anticipation hit her. What was he about to reveal? And would it shatter her world or build a new one? The morning light spilled into Lily's room, illuminating the scattered notes and crumpled papers that echoed her restless night. She tossed and turned, replaying the moments with Andrew, his pleading eyes, the weight of his words hanging in the air. Her stomach churned with both excitement and anxiety. Today felt like a precipice, a moment that could change everything or leave her even more uncertain. She slipped out of bed and moved through her morning routine with purpose. Each brushstroke, each splash of cold water on her face felt like preparation for the conversation that awaited her. What could Andrew possibly have to say at the park? Was it his demons he wanted to share, or perhaps something more profound? Time crawled as she glanced at the clock, the hands refusing to move fast enough. All she could think about was their exchange, the promise of honesty hanging just out of reach. Would he take the leap? Would he dare to peel back the layers he had wrapped around himself? As she walked towards the park, the world felt electric, buzzing with possibilities. The trees lined the path, their leaves whispering secrets of the summer that was still holding on despite the chill of autumn creeping in. Families laughed in the distance, and the sun painted everything in shades of gold. But all she could focus on was the heavy thudding of her heart and the chill of uncertainty that brewed in her chest. She arrived at the park a few minutes early, scanning the area for Andrew. The usual hustle was peppered with children playing, couples strolling hand in hand, but Lily felt detached. Each minute stretched painfully, a reminder of her eagerness to bridge the gap between them. Then she saw him. He emerged from the path on the opposite side, hands tucked in the pockets of his navy jacket, his brow furrowed in thought. The sight of him invoked a flood of warmth, but the unreadable expression on his face tightened her chest. It was like watching a storm gather, and she was standing in the eye of it. As he approached, she noticed the shift in his demeanor. The usually confident Andrew seemed tentative today, almost vulnerable. "Hey," he said, his voice edged with uncertainty. "Hey," she replied softly, taking a small step forward. "You seemed lost." He chuckled, but it was strained. "You could say that." He motioned to a bench, and they both sat, a palpable tension wrapping around them. "I've been thinking a lot since last night," he began, his eyes locked onto hers, searching for something. "About what you said. About letting people in. Did you find any answers?" She held her breath, aware of the gravity of this moment that he hesitated, and for a fleeting second, the weight of his hidden burdens felt crushing. "I found fear. Fear of what it means to share my life with someone. I've built these walls, and it's hard to even know where to start breaking them down." "I'm not asking you to tear everything down at once," she reassured, her voice steady. "Just a crack would be a good start." "Every crack you see, there's another part of my life I've been hiding," he admitted, his gaze drifting to the ground. "I've been successful in my career but lost in my personal choices. I've made mistakes that haunt me, things that could push you away." Lily felt the pieces start to click together and her heart ached for him. "Andrew, it's okay to be fragile and imperfect. Isn't that what being human is?" He lifted his gaze, eyes glistening. "But what if it's too messy for you? What if I let you in and you find something you can't accept?" The weight of his question hung thick in the air. "You won't know unless you try," she urged, feeling the connection pulsing between them. "But I'm here, ready for whatever that means." His expression softened, vulnerability finally breaking through. This was the moment they both needed a chance to either deepen the bond that had begun to form or to define their paths apart. Just as he opened his mouth to respond, a sharp ring broke through the tension. Andrew's phone buzzed insistently in his pocket, interrupting their exchange. With a furrow of frustration, he reached for it and glanced at the screen, his expression draining slightly. For a moment, it felt like time stopped. What could be so important that it pulled him away now? "Andrew?" she asked, her heart racing anew. He met her gaze, a storm brewing in his eyes again. I have to take this," he replied, the weight of his words lingering. "But we were just." He stood abruptly, torn between the world he occupied and the one he wanted to explore with her. "I'll be right back, I promise." As he walked a few paces away, her heart sank. Would this be another moment lost to obligations he couldn't escape? Lily's breath caught in her throat as she watched him. Would he choose to fight for them, or slip back into the shadows he had constructed? With every heartbeat, she pondered what the answer to that question would mean for both their futures. Lily tried to breathe as she watched Andrew walk away, the distance between them amplifying her doubts. There was something stifling about the way he seemed to pull back into his world, his phone ringing, the urgency in his stride. It felt like a door slamming shut just when it was opening. She shifted on the bench, restless. The laughter of children playing nearby seemed distant, a soundtrack to a life she felt she could no longer touch. With every passing second, she replayed their conversation in her mind. What if the emotional armor he wore kept him from truly connecting? And what if this phone call was just another thing that pulled him further away from her? Andrew's voice came back, muffled, as he spoke into his phone. The seriousness of the conversation felt like a palpable barrier, a fog rolling in between them. She caught snippets of his words, urgent, almost desperate, as he paced beneath the trees. It ripped at her hope. Was he really finding the courage to fight through his fears, or was he simply destined to retreat back into the familiar confines of his carefully curated life? Moments seemed to stretch into eternity until he finally hung up. He turned back toward her, and all at once, the wall he had put up loomed larger than ever. He looked conflicted, torn between relief and resignation. "Sorry about that," he said, running a hand through his hair. "It was important." "Important?" Lily asked, frustration simmering just beneath the surface. "More important than what we were talking about?" He studied her for a moment, his expression a mix of sorrow and understanding. "No, not more important. Just it's complicated." "Complicated is exactly what we're talking about," she countered, her voice rising slightly. "You can't just pull away every time life gets messy." "I'm not trying to pull away," he replied, his voice softening. "I just didn't expect to have to deal with this right now." "Then when would be a good time?" She leaned forward, her heart racing. "This is a huge moment for us." "I know," he admitted, the old pain creeping back into his eyes. "But the thing's weighing on me. It's not just about me. It's about everyone who could be affected. I don't want to drag you into my chaos." "Isn't that the point? We all have chaos. Isn't that what makes us human?" Lily felt a surge of frustration and fear. "You're not the only one who is scared here, Andrew. I'm scared too. Scared that if you walk away now, I might never get this chance back." He opened his mouth, hesitating as if weighing every word. "What if I said you deserve better than the mess I bring?" "Maybe I don't need better. Maybe I just need you," she said, pouring out the vulnerability she felt. "But you have to want to be here. You have to let me in." His gaze flickered, doubt flickering in his eyes. Then the tension shifted, something sparked between them again. Moments later, his shoulders relaxed, and he took a step closer. "I don't want to lose you." "I don't want to lose you either," she breathed, hope fluttering anew, but just then, Andrew's phone buzzed again, slicing through their fragile moment. He fished it from his pocket, his face tightening as he read the message. I have to take this," he muttered, stepping back again. Lily felt her heart constrict. "Don't go, not like this." "I'll be quick, I swear," he promised, but his urgency left her feeling dismissed. As he walked away, a fear gripped her heart. Was he slipping back into a world where she didn't belong? Could he break free from his constraints, or was she going to have to face the reality of his retreat on her own? With each step he took away from her, Lily's resolve wavered. What did it mean to open up to someone who seemed consistently ready to escape? Just how deep did his shadows run, and could love really conquer such darkness? The weight of uncertainty pressed down as she waited, the air thick with expectation. Would he come back to finally reveal his truth, or would she be left standing alone, questioning everything they had built? Lily sat on the bench, every ticking second amplifying the silence that surrounded her. The laughter of the children nearby felt alien, a sharp contrast to the turmoil roiling inside her. She wished she could reach into the moment and pull Andrew back, to catch all the things left unsaid. As she stared at the path where he had disappeared, her mind raced. Would he really come back? Would he finally let her in? She couldn't shake the feeling that this was a turning point, a moment teetering on the edge of something fragile. They had been so close to breaking through that wall, and now it felt like a chasm had formed between them. After what felt like an eternity, Andrew returned, his face marked with agitation. "I'm sorry," he said again, though his eyes were clouded and distant. "I didn't mean to leave you hanging like that." "Then don't," Lily replied, her voice steadier than she felt. "Not anymore. I can't pretend like everything is fine when it's not." He looked down, the vulnerability hanging heavy between them. "You have to understand, it's more complicated than just us. I have things that need resolving. Important things." Fists clenched, she let out a breath. Complicated how? What's really going on, Andrew? His eyes flickered, and for a moment, she thought she saw the ghost of his defenses falter. There's a part of my life that I keep hidden. I'm not who you think I am. What do you mean? Her heart thudded loudly in her chest. What are you hiding? He ran a hand across his face. My family, my job, it's a lot. You have to trust that I'm trying to figure it out without dragging you into it. But by pushing me away, you are dragging me into it. She pleaded. Don't you see that? If you care about me, you'll let me help you bear the burden, whatever it is. I'm scared, okay? He admitted, finally locking eyes with her. Scared of losing everything I have if I let you in. Scared you'll see the mess and walk away. His admission hung in the air like a fragile thread, and her heart ached in understanding. You're not the only one afraid here. I'm terrified too, Andrew. But I'm still willing to try. Isn't love supposed to be a risk? For a moment, she thought she saw clarity wash over him, something breaking through the gloom. But his phone buzzed again, pulling his attention. He sighed and glanced at the screen, tension returning to his features. Do you really have to answer that? She asked, desperation creeping into her voice. I can't ignore it, he said reluctantly, his eyes darting back and forth between the phone and her. Then maybe you need to decide what's more important to you, she responded softly, though it felt like a punch to her own gut. Is it your phone or me? Because I can't keep doing this. Andrew's breath hitched. He looked caught between two worlds, and Lily felt her stomach twist painfully. When would he choose? He finally put the phone down and took a step closer, desperation in his voice. I don't want to lose you, Lily. I think you're the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me. Then show me, she urged, trembling as the weight of her own hope threatened to break her. Show me what's really going on. I'm ready not just to love you, but to understand you. His lips parted as if the words were on the tip of his tongue, but just then, joy turned to dread. The tension snapped as Andrew received yet another call, a grimace crossing his face. I really have to take this, he murmured, turning away again, the distance growing once more. Tears pricked at her eyes. Andrew, please, but he was already retreating, lost in his phone, leaving her feeling like a shadow of uncertainty. The darkness in her heart spread. Would he ever let her in? Or would she always stand on the outside, yearning for a glimpse of the truth? As Andrew walked away this time, something deep inside Lily shifted. Could she really let him go? Would she let her fear silence her voice forever? She stood up, uncertainty pooling in her belly. What if this was the last chance to fight for them both? The spark inside her ignited, and with her heart racing, she called. After him, Andrew. Wait. The way he turned around almost felt like destiny unfolding. What would she uncover if she faced him now? The question loomed in the air, heavy with possibility. Hey! Lily's voice rang out, cutting through the distance that had practically crackled with tension between them. Andrew paused mid-stride, looking back at her with a mix of confusion and anticipation. The air felt electric, charged with the weight of unspoken words. Just wait a second, she urged, moving closer, determination swelling in her chest. You don't have to go through this alone. I can't keep watching you try to escape every time things get tough. The urgency in her voice pulled him back. I know, but I don't want to burden you with my chaos, he said, his expression a blend of sincerity and sadness. Andrew, this is what life is about, you're not a burden. She was close enough now to see the shadows of unresolved pain in his eyes, and it tugged at her heart. Please, talk to me. Let me in. With a heavy exhale, he stepped toward her, his defenses visibly wavering. There's so much you don't know about me, things I've tried so hard to keep buried. His voice was quieter now, a mix of vulnerability and uncertainty. I don't want you to look at me differently once you see the mess. Lily felt her heart leap. This was the crack she had hoped for. Then show me, Andrew. I promise, whatever it is, we can face it together. For a heartbeat, he hesitated. A storm of emotions played behind his gaze, his struggle visible in the tight set of his jaw. Then he nodded slowly. Okay, I'll try. Relief flooded her, but it was also accompanied by fear. What secrets lay hidden in his heart? Let us sit, she suggested, gesturing toward a nearby bench. He followed her, the tension easing slightly as they settled side by side. Lily watched as Andrew ran his hands through his hair, grappling with thoughts he'd held close for too long. You know about my family's wealth, the businesses? What you don't see is the pressure that comes with it. It's suffocating, Lily. Everyone expects perfection. His voice cracked, and she felt the weight of every burden he carried. I've made choices I'm not proud of, things that haunt me, feelings I've hidden away. I'm terrified of letting anyone, even you, see the real me. She listened, her heart breaking for him. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be you, she replied gently. We all have demons to face. That doesn't mean you're alone in this. His eyes met hers, vulnerable and searching. But what if the truth is too messy for you? What if I lose you? Then we deal with it together, she said firmly, her gaze unwavering. But trying to push everyone away isn't going to fix anything. I want to understand. Andrew took a deep breath, the storm inside him shifting to a gentle rain. It's my grandfather's expectations. I've always had to live up to his legacy. His voice lowered, almost a whisper. I don't want to be him. He was a good businessman but detached, cold. I'm scared of becoming like him. Lily felt her heart swell with empathy. You're not him, Andrew. You're your own person. Let that part of you shine. You're passionate and human, and I see that. It's why she hesitated, heart racing, ready to step off the cliff into something deeper. It's why I'm falling for you. His expression changed, softening with the truth in her words. Was it hope? Was it the realization that he didn't have to carry this weight alone? You mean that? Absolutely, she affirmed softly. But you need to let me in. You need to be honest with yourself first. At last, Andrew exhaled, a long breath he'd been holding for too long. Okay. Okay. I'll try. But it's going to be hard. I've kept so much hidden for so long, and I don't want to lose what we have. You won, she promised. We'll take it one step at a time. Just promise me you'll be open. I promise, he said, the corners of his mouth hinting at a small smile. For the first time, his shoulders seemed to lighten, the burden slipping slowly away. Let us start now, Lily encouraged, her voice softer as the sun dipped below the trees, casting golden rays across their faces. Tell me what's been eating at you. Andrew looked away for a moment, and Lily could almost see him sorting through the fragments of his life. There's a deal happening in my company. It feels wrong, a merger that could hurt a lot of people, including the diner. His expression turned serious, pain threading through his words. What do you mean? She asked, heart pounding. Is there something you can do about it? I don't know yet. I've been afraid to act because my family expects me to just do what's best for business without questioning it. He looked at her, his blue eyes filled with uncertainty. But you're right. Being true to myself matters more than anything. Lily nodded, feeling the importance of this moment sink in. And if that means fighting for the diner and your community, then fight for it. I believe in you. A spark ignited between them, a shared understanding blossomed amidst the chaos of their lives. This was the moment, both had crossed a threshold, ready to embrace the challenges ahead together. Maybe you were the one I needed all along, Andrew said, his voice tinged with emotion. You needed to believe you're not alone, she replied, her heart soaring. Together, we can face anything. As they sat together, the moon rose high above them, wrapping the world in silver light. There was a softness in the air now, an unmistakable promise that tomorrow would be different. Lily, he began earnestly, I want to make a change. For us. For the diner. I will fight. A radiant smile spread across her face. and I'll be right there beside you." Their hands found each other, fingers entwined, and in that simple gesture, they held the promise of hope and the strength of a newfound connection. In that moment, the weight of the past lifted, and before them lay a world teeming with possibilities. It's your turn to make a difference. You need to subscribe now to catch all the exclusive stories that inspire and ignite change. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support means the world. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this transformation. It connects us all, and don't wait not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see these incredible journeys, and let us spread the inspiration.